Good afternoon. Good Thursday evening. Welcome everybody to the Thursday night build show. I'm your host, Benestrino, here doing a double build tonight. So first up, tonight we are building this beastly beast for a local customer who is looking for a decent PC to start gaming. Didn't have, the craziest of budgets, so we put together this pretty awesome build for him. So I'm super excited to put this together. I did not get permission to use the names for either of these builds for the stream, so I will not use them. So they are mystery purchaser. I don't know if you have another name for them. And a power E. I don't know. Anyway, the motherboard box was kind of dismantled, as well as actually the CPU and GPU box, as you can see here. That's how it showed up, but don't worry, I have opened up everything and I've tested as much as I could before the stream to make sure everything was working. But just to give you an idea of what happens to packages, I mean, just look at this. That's how it showed up. Just completely abused. But the motherboard box and the graphics card box was actually 10 times worse, and I wasn't even going to use them because they were so bad. Anyway, card worked fine when I had it plugged in, and the motherboard worked fine when I had that plugged in as well. But the box was pretty badly damaged. Was unimpressed. Besides that, let's go ahead and get started with the first build here. And yeah, the reason why I didn't send it back is because it's going to take too long to send it back, get a replacement, etc., and it's a pain in the pain. So we're going to try to use it, and if there is any problems with it, outside of my testing that I've already done, then we'll obviously send it back and get a different board in there. In fact, I might even have another one of these sitting here right now. I might. It's a very high possibility. Okay, so going through the build list. We have a Ryzen 7 5800X because we wanted the extra cores for what he was focused on doing, which we then put on a B550 to make sure we could get the PCIe 4.0 support with the 78 or the 5800X, the Ryzen 7 5800X with 8 cores, 16 threads, and a max boost of 4.7 gigahertz. We're going to be cooling this with a Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut thermal paste, as well as a 240 millimeter AIO by Thermalright. This Thermalright 240 millimeter AIO is the Frozen Note, is the model, and it's white, and it has addressable RGB, two 120 millimeter fans on a 240 millimeter radiator. It's a great cooler. If you haven't already tried a Thermalright cooler, they're the best for the price per dollar. So you really can't beat it when it comes to the cost. So it's a great cooler for the price, and I've tested these over and over again, and they are just exceptional. Awesome. So moving on, outside of the cooler, we're going to be plugging that again into the B550, which is a Gigabyte B550M DS3H AC. So it has the built-in, was supposed to have the built-in Wi-Fi. I think we just got sent the wrong board completely, which is kind of irritating. We'll have to deal with that. Now that I look at this, it's supposed to be the B550M DS3H AC, and this is not the AC. This is not the right board. So I will deal with that. I don't know how we're going to deal with that. Let me see if I have another board. I do. Let's see if this is the correct board. This, I think, was a return. But I usually have a couple of different boards here, always. This is actually a very popular board to use. All right. I don't think this is the correct board either. It is. So this is the correct board. I don't know why they think this board, well, I mean, I guess if you look at it, very easily mistaken, except for it's missing the Wi-Fi. So this is the correct board. This is the incorrect board. Wonderful. All right, so we'll just use this one. Same thing. This has the Wi-Fi. It's literally the same board. I'll deal with this later. Okay, so now we're back on track, thankfully. So the B550M AC, DS3H AC. Okay, and then we're going to be running 16 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 by Silicon Power. It's a great kit if you haven't used Silicon Power before. It's a very popular brand. I use them a lot anyway. We're also going to be using a Silicon Power SSD, which is 1 terabyte. This is an M.2 Gen 4, PCIe Gen 4. So we're going to utilize the B550 and the Ryzen 7 5800X and the PCIe 4.0 support to really get the most out of the speed of the card and the graphics card, which is going to be running in PCIe 4.0. But this is the RX 6600, which is 8 gigabytes, 128-bit GDDR6. It's a great card, and it's the Gigabyte Eagle, which has 3 fans instead of the 2. So it's got a little bit more cooler real estate, so to speak, on the card itself. It's a great card. And then we're also building with an AGV 750 watt power supply with white sleeved extension cables. I'm hearing dings over there. Hold on a second. Sorry, just wanted to make sure it wasn't the customer I was just working with before I started the stream. Alright, so, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to set some of this aside that we're not going to use right away. And we're going to get started with the B550 motherboard. Maybe we could zoom in a little bit on this. What do you think? Get a little bit of a zoom. And hopefully it focuses. Focus for me. Thank you. Alright, so we're going to get the Ryzen 7 5800X out of the box. And get that installed on the motherboard. First, let me grab my tools. Who needs tools? But you can see why this box crumbles so easily. There's literally nothing inside of it, except for a big piece of plastic, and then on the side is the actual CPU. And that is why, ladies and gentlemen, these get crushed all the time. But here's our CPU, safe and sound, no damage at all. Just the package got it damaged, like always, I feel like. And then our Ryzen 7 5800X going in. And then our 1TB M.2 Gen 4 SSD is installed. Now we're going to get the two 8 gig sticks out of this package here and install these. So that's 16 gigabytes total. Silicon power, 3200 megahertz. Okay, our motherboard is ready to go. So we're going to set this aside actually and get the case out. We're building this into a Montech Air 100 micro ATX case. Again, like I stated in the past, this is probably one of the most, probably the best budget case you can build in 2023. Comes in white and black. So there's different colors. Let's zoom it out a little bit for us. I miss having my wireless remote camera, which is, by the way, on the way back from Logitech. Rally. My Rally camera. That was probably my favorite camera I've ever worked with so far. Out of all the cameras I've worked with. Especially when you're doing a lot of, like, moving around. Some of their newer stuff even has the, like the Jabra camera. Jabra has a really cool camera. It actually follows you. It has the AI intelligence to follow. So if you're walking around, it will actually follow you as you go, which is really cool. And the focus on it is amazing. We probably should switch views here too. I don't know why I always accidentally stay in that stupid view. There we go. Hold on, I'm waiting for my chat to come back. Chat window died on me. I moved it. Accidentally closed it. There we go. All right, back to this. We're gonna need. Okay. For the back of the motherboard. Yeah. Hold on. We need our studs here that we're missing. Can't ever forget your stud. Never a good idea to forget your stud. There we are. Much better. Now we can proceed with mounting the motherboard with the 2, 4, 6, 8 screws. I always have to count, even though I know every time. I count the same number every time. Because I'm special. And there we have it. All of our screws are in place, holding the motherboard in place. Now we can move on to something like the cooler. Much more exciting, right? Actually, before we do the cooler, we're going to probably want to get as much plugged in here at the top as we can. So, for example, our EPS cable, our CPU, fan. Do we have a pump header? We can always use the thingamabobber, but we have system fans. Regardless, it will work. Let's just get the I/O plugged in. That's done, taken care of, and finished and out of the way. All of the above. This guy, I saw sysfan 1 over here. Well, this fan 2, but it makes more sense just to go there. This is our USB 3 that I'm plugging in right now. It's a little bit tricky on the bottom. I much prefer these connections being up on the side, up by the 24-pin connection. Don't like them on the bottom of the motherboard anymore. They just don't look as clean. We have our power button / reset button, power LED. Whatnots. I try to squeeze them in here under the USB 3.0 connection. Then we do have a USB 2.0. Which again should be right next to the USB 3. And then finally our HD audio. So right now I'm just feeding these cables in. So that way I could flip it over and plug them all in at once, being a little bit more efficient with my time. Alright, there we go. We got all of our connections down at the bottom taken care of, but even though we were supposed to focus on the top, let's get our power supply extension cables out and deal with those really quick. For example, our EPS cable. That needs to get done. Done did. Done did. Alright. Beautiful sleeved cables with cable combs. Feed this through this hole. Get it plugged in here. And there you have it. Some fancy cables. All right, let's move on to the cooler. We're ready for this, I think. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to cool this beast. And per normal, Thermalright puts their fans on this cooler pre-installed, but they do it in a backwards fashion. What that means is we have to rotate the fans. So it would have been better off just not having them pre-installed, because they're facing the wrong way currently. And then we have to deal with these weed buggers, being the twist ties. Lots of twist ties. Y'all know how much fun I have with twist ties. I love twist ties. They're my #1 favorite thing to occupy my time. Twist ties. #1 favorite. Who loves twist ties? I don't think anybody likes a twist tie. Maybe there's some strange person out there that gets some satisfaction out of the twisting motion, or undoing them, or maybe twisting them. But you're one messed up person if you like that. I'm just kidding. I have a deep hate for them. That's all. I know. You just get old over the time of doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them. Okay, let's mount this bad boy. look, another twist tie. Just another twist tie. Oh my god. Come on, cables. Made you get in there. Get in there. And stay. Come on now. Why you gotta be like? Thought we already talked about this. Go in there. Hang out for a few minutes. Good deal. And I'll get you all hooked up and back home in your place. Okay? Be all cozy. All our cables pulled through. Alright. Now we're ready to screw this in. And of course, forgot to open the package of screws. That seems like a silly mistake. Like, why would you do that? Why? It's okay. I saved it. Alright, so 240 millimeter AIO going in place here. Got a total of 8 screws to deal with. Although you could get away with like 2 or 4. But we're going to put all 8 of them in. And then we'll roll this down gently. There we go. And then we just got to peel this clear peel off the copper block. That keeps the copper clean during transport and installation. And then we put the AM4 bracket on. Loosen the little spring-loaded nuts. Not too much though, but just enough. Then we're ready for our thermal paste, which again we're going to be using thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. We got the big tube today. To install the block right on the CPU. There we go. Then we're just ready to tighten down these little spring-loaded thumb nuts. And that starts applying pressure to the CPU into the socket. Usually when you start seeing a little bit of a bend there, it's tight enough. And we'll pull that RGB cable for the pump. And there we go. Our cooler is installed. All fancy like, right? Alright, moving on. So pretty much all we have left to do is put the graphics card in, put the power supply in, cable management, and we fire this bad boy up. Pretty good, I'd say. Pretty good. This is one of those easy, fun builds. When I say easy, fun, very predictable. I've done quite a few of these types, but at the same time, it's still fun. Regardless, I still enjoy building PCs no matter what. Very nice, yeah. Do the majority of the cable management before you put the power supply in. Why not? It was easy. Moving on. Fancy. All right, power supply time. It's that time. This is a 750 watt bronze semi-modular power supply. More twist ties. And more twist ties. Good cable management or what? Clean. Nice and clean. Just the way we like it. Super clean with all the cables. Can't do much with those fan cables there. Just what it is. Just making sure everything stayed where it's supposed to. Looks like it did. So who's ready to see this PC fired up? Because I'm ready. Get some of this stuff out of the way and we'll fire it up. Check it out. See what it looks like. All right, fire it up. There it is. I don't know how much better we can get the exposure on this camera because it's not our rally. We can zoom in a little bit. Alright, so we definitely got started a lot later than expected for this thing's posting. We were supposed to start around 5 p.m. tonight, but we got a couple of calls that we had to take care of immediately, which delayed our stream. So, because of the delayed start on the stream, I am not able to do the two that I wanted to. So I will be probably firing up the stream tomorrow morning and continuing the episode anyway, tomorrow morning. Except instead of the Thursday night build show, it's going to be a Friday morning build show. Hell yeah. So regardless, we've got one done tonight. We're going to have another stream tomorrow. Thank you, Brody, for that like over on Facebook. And Matt Sargent, thank you for that like over on the Facebook as well. Appreciate you guys. But we're going to wrap this up tonight on this build. I know it's really dark right now because for some reason the exposure on this camera sucks, and my new camera, my replacement camera from the camera that died, is on its way. So the exposure sucks. You can see it's like blah. It's not that bad. I probably over-exaggerate how bad it is. But anyway, we'll be back online tomorrow with another build stream, and we do have a lot of builds to do coming up here, so stay tuned. We got lots more streams coming up. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Have a good night. Thank you for hanging out with us. You okay?